Hey there YouTube, it's JP Dunphy, your BMW genius here at BMW Fort Washington. In today's video, I'm going to be going over that interesting little light that you get that says A/C. Now, the number one question that everyone's been getting lately, which I find kind of funny, but it comes up especially in the middle of winter, where people sit there and say, hey, I have the heat on, why is the AC on? I don't want air conditioning. Here's the thing. If you thought that little AC stood for things, you probably thought it was either A, air conditioning, B, air circulation, C, air compressor, or D, always cold. Potentially always chilling. Let's see what it means. The bottom line is, it's actually not any of those future ones. Now, don't get me wrong. It is part of your air conditioning and one of the reasons that you get air conditioning, but what it stands for is your air compressor. Meaning that's not simply for your air conditioning. Now, when the compressor's running, obviously you do get actual AC, so, air conditioning itself, but it's not solely for that. Now, the way it works is that air compressor is run off of a little electric clutch based on your engine. It can run off that as an accessory, and it's electronically controlled for how much compression is needed to either get the air colder. Like for instance, max AC does automatically, whenever you press that, it turns on the recirculation and gets it as cold as possible inside the car. Again, that doesn't, even though it does create air conditioning, it is not solely for that, which is why, when some people sit there and ask, JP, it's the middle of winter, why is the AC on and when I'm trying to just defrost the window? It doesn't make sense. It's I don't want air conditioning. Can I turn it off? So the thing about it is, yes, that does create air conditioning, but another use for it is to control moisture inside the car. It could basically dehumidify the inside, so it can change temperature differentials from the exterior to interior, and especially on the newer cars, it's not just for air conditioning. So even though, yes, it is part of air conditioning, it is not solely air conditioning, which is why it's your air compressor light, not your air conditioning light. For instance, if you look right now, I am currently auto, 84 degrees. That's hot. It is hot. It is, 84 degrees right now. So it is hot. So it makes no sense if you're asking for heat in auto for the air conditioning to be on. Reason being, it's not air conditioning. It's your air compressor. So with that on, that now means that because there is a moisture differential between the interior and exterior, mainly because there's a body in here and it's creating, moisture in the air, it can regulate that using the air compressor. So that's that. So just as an interesting fact, if you ever look into the new iX and i4 or BMW's electric cars, anything that has a heat pump, you'll notice that there is no specific AC option. You do still have your max AC, which again, people think is air conditioning, but no, it's actually your air compressor. The reason that you don't have just a simple AC button in here is because it's a heat pump. It's basically the air compressor system that's normally used for air conditioning, but it's run in reverse to then create heat instead. So when it runs one way through it, it cools down the air. When it's run the opposite way through, it creates heat. So that's what really, really simplified how a heat pump works. But that's also the reason why when you have your air options on here, all you really have are auto and auto off. And the only option you have is max AC, which is basically because it is an electronically controlled clutch for the compressor. It just means maximum power, which gives you the most possible cooling underneath that circumstance. But yeah, fun little tidbit for the end.